day, everyone. Today, we'll explore an important and timely topic, the dynamics of media, economy, and politics. In our modern world, media plays a powerful role in shaping what we know, what we think, and even how we act. But behind every post, broadcast, and headline, there are deeper connections to economic interests and political power. This discussion will help us understand how these three areas, the media, economy, and politics, are closely linked and how they influence one another. But before all of that, first, let's define media. Now, what is media? Media are channels of communication that allows information to reach the public, such as television, radio, newspapers, and social media platforms. But media is more than just a tool for sharing news and entertainment. It is deeply tied to economic, political, and social systems. Media influences how societies think and act, how government makes decisions, and how economies grow. That's why studying media also means examining its connections to power and money. Now, let us move to the concept of the political economy of media. In simple terms, the political economy of media studies how ownership, control, and economic interests shape the content and behavior of media institutions. It is how politics and economics overlaps, and how those relationships affect the society and everyday life. For example, when large corporations owns most of the media outlets, they can influence what stories to get told and which ones are ignored. This means that media doesn't just reflect society, it also shapes society through the interest of those who control it. According to the media scholar Robert McChesney 2008, there are several key areas we should focus on when analyzing the political economy of media. Let's go through some of them briefly. The first one would be journalism and democracy. It is how media practices affect truth, transparency, and public participation. The second one is propaganda. How governments, corporations, and private groups use media to influence public opinion. The third one is commercialization and depolitization. How profit-driven media can distract people from important social and political issues. The fourth one is inequality. How media can reinforce or challenge racial, gender, and economic divisions. The fifth one would be foreign policy and militarism. How media narratives can support or criticize government actions abroad. Sixth is advertising and consumer culture. It shows how ads influence media content and audience behavior. The seventh one would be communication policies and telecommunications. Who creates the rules that govern media access and regulation? The eighth one would be media and global capitalism. How media systems support or resist global economic power structures. 9 is public broadcasting and alternative media. How non-commercial media can offer independent and diverse voices. Last one is technology and social movements. How digital tools can both empower people and be useful for control.
Good day everyone! Today I'll be discussing information and the economy and also media and education. But first, let's talk about information and the economy. So information plays a very big role in the economy. Kaya kung kuwang ganit ka sa information, people will make wrong decisions. Pero kung sakto o klaro ang information, is that people can budget better, invest better, and understand what is happening around them. So giun sa pag-work sa newsrooms. So newsrooms face many challenges. Everyday hundreds or sometimes 1,000 stories ang ilang madawat gikan sa different sources. So before ma-publish ang news is kailangan pa sila mo-validate, mo-check og facts, og mo-review og balik. So tungod sa computation, kung kinsa ang pinakaunang mo report, sometimes mas daghan og errors, kulang og explanations, lisod or complicated terms, dili ma-explain nila og tarong, and also limited sad og perspectives. So sometimes ang news murag ila na lang gidali-dali ba. So the importance of economic information. Economic information is important kay daghan ni siya nag-base sa news, like sa mga investors, business owners, mga ordinary people, and even kita na students and workers. So news affects how people spend money, how they invest, and how they see the economy. So for example, weak peso. So let's talk about weak peso or kusog nga dollar na ilang gitawag. So when the peso gets weaker, so automatic mahal gud ang mga imported goods. Taas ang mga presyo sa gas, mga pagkaon, and other items. So this affects talaga everyone. So pero bisan og inana is naapod lain na mga grupo ang naka-benefits di ana, like kanang mga exporters. Kay kung taas gani ang ilang kita mataas ang ilang kita tungod kay they earn in dollars. So mga OFWs kay dako sad ang value sa remittances nila. So pero even if naka-benefit sila, they still face higher prices. So makita nato na complex kaayo gud ang economy. That is why media should explain it clearly, so para people understand the full picture, dili lang ang negative or positive side. So stock market reporting. Reporting about the stock market is also very challenging. Reporters needs to update news many times a day, morning, afternoon, or closing time. So sometimes they use dramatic words like stocks, sword, market plunge. So even if gamay lang ang change, usay pang exaggerate kay gusto nila catch yung headline. Pero ang news ilang gihimo kay can actually affects how people invest the next day. So kung ang news kay kuwang gani kaayo og wording, people might panic. Kung overly positive, people might invest too much. So that's why or that's how powerful media is in shaping economic behavior. So now that we finish information and the economy, let's move on to media and education. So media also has a big role in education. So through media, we learn kanang mga balita, mga current na balita ug mga nahitabo na balita, online lessons, educational videos. Like kung wala kay kagit sa inyong klase is pwede ra ka through media is pwede ra ka may ma-learn sa online, like sa mga YouTube commentaries. So sa meal na subject, we learn how to analyze and understand information properly. Media helps students become more aware, more critical, and more wise in consuming information. So in conclusion of my report is that information is powerful in the economy. New rooms face pleasure, so errors and oversimplified stories can happen. Clear reporting helps people make better decisions. Media can affect markets, prices, and even people's feelings. And lastly, media plays a big role in education and awareness. And that's all. Thanks for listening.
So now, I will be discussing about media, politics, and society. Threats and risks related to mainstream media. So mainstream media greatly influence how people view politics and society. But it also carries several risks when not used responsibly. So number 1, spread of misinformation and disinformation. So example, a network reports a fake political scandal before confirming the facts. So false or misleading information can easily spread, especially when news outlets publish unverified stories just to be first. Number 2, Media bias and political influence. Example: a TV station reports only the achievements of candidates and ignores their controversies. So, some media companies favor certain politicians or parties because of ownership or political ties.
So number 3, manipulation of public opinion. Example, news outlets exaggerate crime stories to make viewers fearful and dependent on certain leaders. So through emotional headlines or selective reporting, media can shape how people think about issues. Number 4, decline of critical thinking. So example, audience believe online rumors without checking credible sources. So, constant exposure to based or simplified news make people less likely to question what they read or watch. And now number 5, invasion of privacy. So example, reporters expose private details about celebrities or victims of tragedy for higher ratings. So, some media invade personal lives to attract more viewers or readers. So now number 6, polarization and division. Example, news channels label one group as heroes and other as villains, fueling hate and misunderstanding. So, that's why when the media focuses on conflict or us versus them, narrates, it can depend social divides. And number 7, commercial pressure. The example, networks focus on celebrity gossip instead of important national issues to gain more views. That's why competition and advertising, media often prioritize entertainment over truthful reporting.